We were warm. Oh, we were colder today, but we've been warm the last several days.
My house says it's 69 in here.
Oh,
it's either a good thing or a bad thing. A bad thing because my balls are so cold, but a good thing for what it represents.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Guardian Hub podcast, a podcast where we talk Destiny and our experiences in the game. We spotlight different guests and communities and are a place to talk about uplifting experiences that we have had. And I am Kingsley, and with me tonight, as always, I have Sin. How are you doing, Sin?
Oh, I feel tingly on the inside, especially after Game of Thrones.
Yes.
I'm like a
now, are you going to turn this into a Game of Thrones podcast?
I might. After tonight, I might. It might happen.
Well, we have to at least wait till episode 50 where we're done talking about Destiny. But I guess by then Game of Thrones will be done.
Right. Probably by then.
I've heard, you were telling us offline that it was exciting and I need to get into it maybe. But we also have another guest with us tonight. So we're very happy to talk to him. Rob, how are you doing? Yes.
Oh, good, guys. How are y'all doing?
Well, sorry, Sin. We'll put the other discussion to the side for now. No, we're very happy to have you, Rob. Rob, for those that don't know you, we'll introduce you here a little bit. I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
We've played Destiny together. We did some raids way back. Like, I think it was probably like spring 2016-ish. Who knows? Like when we started kind of
something like that.
Raiding together, and then we kind of you guys put together a little Discord where we joined up to do some of these raids and turned into a community called Hoot Dawg, and people that have listened to this podcast already know about Hoot Dawg a little bit because we've had Clear Night on already. But tell us kind of like what got you into Destiny. Like, how did you first hear about the game or whatever?
Oh man, I was big into GTA. I guess is what I was playing. PS3 days, I guess.
Is that the top-down GTA?
No. It was I think it was 4. I want to say it was 4 is what I was playing at the time. And a buddy of mine, he and a buddy of his, they were playing Destiny, and he was like, "Oh man, you need to get it. You know, this is a great game. Talking about there's witches and wizards." I'm like, I don't know, man. That just doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like GTA. It just doesn't sound like something I'd want to get into.
Why a bit different?
Yeah, and I want to say my wife or something. I got Destiny for Christmas on Xbox though. I had an Xbox and 360, I think, and he had it on PlayStation, and so I could not play with my buddy. And then everybody knows Destiny's terrible when you're playing alone. And I had no friends that were playing it on Xbox. I really wasn't playing online games. I want to say Destiny might have been my first like online game ever. I played, I want to say, what was that? Burnout? I think it was like a racing game you could play back in the day that was kind of online, but it wasn't, no massive multiplayer game. But time went on, and he kept pressuring me, and I bought a PlayStation. And I started playing it with him, and that's kind of where it all began, I guess. And 5 years later, however long it's been, I haven't put it down for long at least.
Yeah, I know you've played Destiny for quite a while. I mean, we all have. We kind of started on Destiny 1, and now it's Destiny 2, and hopefully there'll be a Destiny 3 as we go forward.
Hopefully,
I'm sure there will be at least. In some form or another.
Some form or another. Oh, yeah. Well, we've talked about, will it be... Yeah, there's so many ways this can go. I hope we know more either way by...
On that subject, I'm hoping there will not be a Destiny 3. I hope they just expand on this universe that they built in Destiny 2.
Yeah, that's a great idea too that some have had. Since we've talked about this a little bit in previous podcasts that we've had, how would you think? I know we've tried a few different models here, and pretty much the only model we haven't tried is like a monthly subscription. But how would you think? Everything has pluses and minuses. What do you think would be a good model to expand upon?
I wouldn't mind a monthly subscription if there was content.
Mm-hmm.
And the way things are, it doesn't seem like they, at least at this point, can make the content though. Doesn't appear that way. They struggle, it seems to me, to get these small expansions out and keep up with them. I can imagine them putting out new stuff on a monthly basis. I would think they would have to increase their staff.
Oh yeah.
To keep up with it, and I don't know if they have the means to do that.
It's hard to know. I've echoed what you've said. I wouldn't mind a monthly subscription. I can see why some people wouldn't like that, but you would have to have the content. Now, one argument could be, if they know they're moving to a monthly, and with all this revenue coming in from monthly, yes, they would have to majorly increase staff, and they would have to come up with a plan. I mean, if they didn't within a month or two's period, there'd be World War III, right?
Mass exodus,
yeah, mass exodus. So it's certainly possible they could, even though they don't have the track record yet. But it is concerning. Like, well, would they? Could they? Should they? Move to that subscription model?
Yeah. That's what I would like to see. I think that would kind of keep their feet to the fire, so to say. If they did it that way, they know they would have to give more content and keep up with it. Whereas now it seems like we get these seasons and mini expansions, and then it's just nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So what it seems to me is we just get a whole lot of nothing for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know what they should do. Truthfully, I don't.
Well,
game design, but I wish they would.
It's always fun.
I wish they'd figure. Yeah, I wish they'd figure. I do, because I don't think this is it, the way it is now.
Well, hopefully, with everything in the news, with people leaving, maybe that will leave that opportunity for those. I was reading on Twitter earlier. We don't necessarily need to think about this people leaving bandwagon as a negative. It gives opportunity to people that fresh faces that have been vying for a higher position that can now give a chance to shine, or new people coming in that can give a fresh perspective on the thing. Could definitely deepen the actual game itself that we love, and bring new light to it. So I've always been back and forth with the whole model of the monthly subscription. I don't think the way that people rant about the cost of the game in general, the monthly subscription would be a good idea, especially if they take the WoW approach, where you pay $15 a month to be on the server, and then $50 every time there's an expansion, because now you're just taking more.
No,
and more.
Yeah,
I don't know the best way.
If they do monthly, it's like, I can't understand. I didn't even know WoW did that. That just seems.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, like, if you're gonna have monthly, it's supposed to just be monthly, and that's it. You don't have monthly. Oh, and by the way, here's quarterly.
We need $50 more from you to play this stuff. Yeah, no,
that's crazy.
No, thank you.
I'm not game with that. I did there for a while when I tried out WoW a couple different times. You could get like the old expansions like super cheap, but when they come out, they're like $40-$50.
Oh Lord.
Plus your $15 a month.
Oh man!
So now it's what, $174 a year?
Yeah, that's a little high.
$184, whatever it equates to, and plus your $40-$50 every time there's an expansion. So I'm okay with paying $100 once per year at this point, because I think if they can keep up with that and drop the content like they've done this time, granted, maybe not all the content has been a win for everybody. I think with these new faces coming in, they could really excel. They could really bring, like I said, some new light to the game.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a second about, with people leaving, because there has been some thoughts either way. I'm trying to remember the timeline of when some of the other high-profile people left. I thought it was about a month ago, but I could be wrong on that timeline. We have the two that just left recently. If it kind of stays right there and we don't hear too much more, to me, I don't see it as like a plus or a negative yet. Either way, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's just kind of like these things happen, coincidence, whatever. But like, if more people leave and if we don't know what's really going on, it certainly could be a negative thing. What could be like what do we think could be some thoughts of like concerns out there with people leaving? I mean, I know I brought up one thing, like when people leave, it can take time for the new people to get up to speed. You have any thoughts, Rob, or anything about people leaving?
Yeah, I just think it would, like you say, it would take people time to even figure out what their job is.
Mm-hmm.
What, especially, even if they're a developer, they're not, and let's say they didn't come from within, they hire them, from a different company or whatever. They have to learn the Bungie way of doing things before, before they can even get their feet wet. And, that just takes time. And actually, that's not something we have a lot of, if you ask me, is time.
Yeah.
For content. And we're coming up on, our next season very quickly, which I'm sure they have wrapped up already, but, is 3 months enough time then to figure out, what's going on, I guess?
Yeah. Well,
I would like to think they have the beginning of next year already planned out, or at least a timeline. Maybe not all the content wrapped up at this point, but from what we've known with them in the past, where it takes a couple months, they have to have that stuff usually ready a month or two ahead of time. We're coming up quickly to the September timeframe.
Yep.
We're at the end of April now, almost May. That gives them 4 months. In the next 2 months, to me, that means they have to have the beginning, or basically next year, lined out, have their timeline set up, have an idea of the basis of what they're going to do, have the initial base expansion be ready to go in the next couple months. I'm hoping they have that at least locked in already, if not very soon.
Yeah, I wonder too, like I kind of also, that's my gut feeling, is that actually they have the base, if there's any new story missions, new raid, new this or that, they have the base of it already developed and planned this much ahead of time, but it still takes months to do testing to fix bugs. We know, okay, yeah, then that brings up the funny topic. There's always bugs that are going to get missed. But I feel like maybe even some of these people leaving, they're like, okay, this could actually be a time where like company won't hate me as much, because the base outline for this next fall, whatever is, and maybe even developed. And so, who knows, maybe this is even a time where some of the main guys can take a little summer break, and it's just the smaller guys that now they have to do all like the odds and ends programming and quality assurance and everything like that. Who knows? We're it's fun to speculate. We never really know, because it's not like this information they're going to tell us. But things they do tell us things in the TWAB, and things will also leak out through not leak out, but be announced on some of the developers and DMGs on Reddit and Twitter, and tell us stuff. I want to talk about one thing that was announced in the TWAB that I was pretty salty at first, and then my position came back a little bit. But the Xur bounties, and everyone who listens to the podcast, that I love doing the Xur bounties right away when they come out.
Right.
And it was announced that this latest Xur bounty you could not do. It just wasn't possible because of there not being Vex on the Tangled Shore. Interestingly enough, and I just took their word for it, and a quick thought in my head was like, oh yeah, that's true. Interestingly enough, some people had mentioned, well, there is the strike, the Warden of Nothing, where there's Vex there. And then we even come to find out that, well, yes, there's that, but for another reason, whether this is considered a bug, not also, that strike doesn't count as the Tangled Shore. The game doesn't think that's the Tangled Shore. So that's why that won't work either. So I was like,
yeah, something to do with that coding, yeah. I think.
It's like, how
DMG,
could that happen?
Right.
Yeah. I was pretty salty about it. I mean, I give the game a lot of props. I was like, how could they not test that? Now what was it? DMG, like you were saying, mentioned something in Twitter about why or what happened. I know I posted something in the Discord myself.
Right. I just remember reading that it had to do with something that the game doesn't look and see that as part of the like you said, the Tangled Shore, even though it is. I guess there's something in the coding, and it's not. I guess there's something that they couldn't fix with it. And I guess they were working on that particular fix.
How is that something you miss?
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's what they said. If I can pull this up here, because I think I have information on this. Boy, I should have had it pulled up a little bit before. But
I wonder if that's what that looks at. I wonder if they brought assets over. Because you're in the Prison of Elders for a lot of that, or some of that. I wonder if that's what it looks at it as.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
in a
why
way, that's kind of what I was thinking too. But here's what they said. Now, they were trying to defend themselves, saying we do quality assurance testing. Don't think that we don't do any. But they claimed that what the issue was that a previous issue presented to them first that they encountered during the normal testing window. And during development, they were finding out that defeating enemies on specific destinations would gain progress from any destination. So in other words, like you could, fight the Vex on any planet and it would count, even though it says you got to do Vex on Tangled Shore.
Mm-hmm.
So they were working on fixing that issue. And then when they did, it was, from what I can imagine, then it had to come to release, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I guess they didn't test more after that, or they just didn't have time because it came to release. So they found out that once they fixed that issue, another issue came up where they found out that the Warden of Nothing Strike is not registering as the Tangled Shore. So who knows? I guess I appreciate that we have, if anything, much more communication these days than remember the D1 days
where Taken King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of came into the game taking Spring right after Taken King, and I didn't know any better, but I would remember hearing about people saying, yeah, what's going on? We're not hearing anything.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess I did see that a little bit. Destiny 2 also, right? Remember how it was kind of quiet at the beginning of Destiny 2 through, it was about January, I think. And I was pulling my hair out too. I was like, wait, they're not telling us anything. And then ever since that January, I feel like it was, they just said, okay, we're going to have more communication. And it went pretty well from there on. I really have to admit, like, they've had fairly good communication, even if it's always what we don't want to hear.
Right.
So for whatever, I mean, I have my Observe bounty now done as much as I can. I guess, was it Usin or someone else was saying, like, well, now I can maybe catch up some too, because this one can't be completed yet.
Yeah, I am still behind.
Yeah, I am too, Sin. I'm a couple weeks behind.
Yeah, I think I'm about 2. It is the one that, and I'll actually tell you because I have it pulled up, the Pyramidion, the Magician.
I think that's the one I'm on, too.
I thought I did that one with the Pyramidion, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. One other thing we wanted to talk about, and then we'll kind of go on to some things that we did this week that were fun, is the weapons that they announced in the TWAB and the Pinnacle Crucible weapons. Thoughts on that? Should pull up and we don't usually like go through the news unless it comes up naturally in conversation on this podcast, but we should probably talk about just briefly what they said is going to be happening.
Well, first, do either of you have any of these comp weapons? The Not Forgotten, Luna's Howl, any of those?
Rob?
I do not on PC have the, and boy, was it tough for me to get. I'm not a god tier Crucible player. I'm decent, and I play a lot of it, or I did. I haven't recently, but I have, played my fair share of Crucible, and it was tough to get. And I did it solo. I didn't play with anybody really. I played a couple games here and there, but like Ray or D-Rez or somebody from Hoot Dawg, but I mainly did 99.9% of it solo. And it was tough to get on PlayStation, and I don't like coming up against it now because I don't have one on PC. But the fact that the greasy wheel always gets the squeaky wheel always gets the grease. People bitching and complaining about it, and yes, I agree. It's a they may be a little OP. There's plenty of guns that are almost as good. You guys know if you step in the Crucible at all, you see a lot of Ace of Spades and Thorns, and those are relatively easy to get. And there's 90. There's
even I get those.
Right. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're easy to get, and
easier.
They're easier at least, yeah. And they're unless they're in one of these guys with platinum elo or something. They're I can't use it any better than you can use a Ace of Spades. It makes no sense that they're doing what they're doing. But that's how Bungie rolls sometimes.
Yeah,
It really is.
Let's talk about that more. I do think there's a valid point saying like, yeah, the people complain about it. Now. I get it somewhat. Like, I mean, if you're in just regular quick play, and then sometimes the thought's like, well, why do we want the sweaty tryhards just coming in and pub stomping us just for fun, just to annoy our experience when we just want to be casual,
Right.
I can understand that a little bit.
The sweaty tryhards could come in with sword and destroy us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
It
would
doesn't
just be
matter
a titch slower. It would still be happening.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. Whatever you give them. You give them a spoon, and they'd still, come in and destroy us. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a top tier reward for people who are either top tier players or like me. I just grinded the hell out of the thing till I got it, and the fact that they're nerfing them, I don't know. It's
Do you
senseless.
feel like? I know, and it sounds like you don't want to nerf at all. Do you feel like this nerf at least is not as bad as it could have been, or do you're still pretty salty?
Well, let me. I don't have it now.
Let's pull it up. I was just looking at this myself. They talk about it's going to be their plan is to make Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten the only 150 RPM precision hand cannons, and basically, I think I was reading it's going to be 2 shots to the head and 1 to the body is what's going to be required for the most part.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I do get it. Yes, it's tough to go against, especially if you get a 6-stack or even a 4-stack in comp, and you're going for Luna's Howl, and you got people with Not Forgottens and Luna's Howls on the other team, and yes, it's hard to go against. But like I said, so is a 4-stack of Spectral Blades with, whatever. You can be using anything. I don't know. It just...
Well, Spectral Blades is also getting a nerf, or a little bit of rebalancing, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I at least appreciate that they're not doing a full-on nerf. They basically, when they told everybody about it, it's going to be, I guess they're stair-stepping it.
Mm-hmm.
They just detuned it a little bit, and they said they're going to wait and see before they touch, I guess, Gwizinvest, which is the most used exotic with it. So I guess that's a good thing. They're not going with a full-on nerf. But I don't have any of the pinnacle PvP weapons like that, the Not Forgottens or the Luna's Howl, and I certainly do get killed a lot with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That does get a little frustrating for me, but they deserve it. They want it. I don't know if there was a better way they could do it, because they are going against. People did use them in quick play.
Yeah.
Outside of the only other way that I think they could have handled that is say, hey, I'm going to lock these particular weapons to this particular activity. This is what they're meant for. But then I'm sure that would cause an uproar
that would make me mad, because that's the only in comp is to try to get it. When I'm done, I'm going to go quick play. I can't, I don't like comp, but I went in there to get the gun and I got it, and I want the hell out of there, But I know it's tricky for them. I understand it's a tough situation that they're in, but I think, like I say, it's more the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It's it's like it is with a lot of the changes that they've made in the past. It's just sometimes they nerf things that nobody was even complaining about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, damned if they do.
Yeah,
damned if
they
don't.
are. But I would say just let it lie. Just leave it be. People. Yes, of course, you're really good players. It didn't take them a day to get it, but it took me 2 or 3 weeks of grinding to get the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd imagine.
and then it's a little painful to know that yes, and we're not doing a whole lot to it, but I liked it the way it was. I don't care for 150 hand cannons either. I like the 180 RPMs, and I don't know.
Yeah,
it's frustrating, but
well, I still feel like they should have 2 options, or an option in quick play where you can actually pick skill-based matchmaking, and that might solve some of the problems too. So I would be fine going into that. Maybe not have it be the only option, but then at least if I know I'm going in, then for the most part it's skill-based, and whatever happens. I haven't been, I don't go into Crucible, as people know, too often, but when I have gone in and gotten killed by Luna's Howl, or even the crazy grenades right now, it makes me a little salty, but on the level of saltiness, it's 20% out of 100%. So it's like, I wasn't complaining for this nerf, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Sodium levels are a little mild.
They're mild. But we still talk about it. I feel like there's still hope, though. I mean, it's not going to be able to change quickly, unfortunately, even though we thought these things could. But they put this last line in here. Like we do whenever Destiny gameplay evolves, we'll be watching the conversation starting today on our plan changes. We'll continue collecting feedback once these changes go live. So it's always possible that they probably will change it, but who knows? There's a very small chance they might say, oh, we changed our mind. Enough people complain the other way, or maybe they'll even just change it back quickly enough once they do make the change. But
I doubt it.
Yeah.
They're probably going to stick with it.
I figure they are, yeah.
For at least several months, if that.
Yeah, it'll go the whole season at least, I imagine.
Rob, have you been getting killed by grenades in Crucible lately?
Oh, boy.
I have a little bit.
Yes, oh my God. I think you and I were talking last week about it, Kingsley, but I cannot remember the name of the map. I wish I could, but I was standing in a hallway and I couldn't move. There was grenades coming constantly from two people. That's it. It was just two people. They were coming, one from one side, one from the other constantly. I had no choice but just to walk in the grenade and die so I could respawn somewhere else. And I kid you not, I stood there for probably a minute or two waiting, to find a way around the grenades, and I couldn't. That is frustrating. That brings the sodium levels up a lot for me. Yeah.
I think it really, also does depend on the map. Equinox, where it's a lot more open.
Yeah,
there's still
okay.
the choke points.
Yeah.
But I was actually having fun with grenades there, and I think Sin was with me, and I switched to the Warlock Pulse top tree grenade Pulse weapon. I was doing pretty good with it. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to play with everyone else and throw my grenades, and getting some kills and stuff. So
I did hear Arc Web was supposed to be pretty good as well.
Bad.
A good counter to the.
Sorry, I was having fun with it.
I'd rather do that than the skips, honestly.
Yeah, and these were skip grenades that were being thrown at me, by the way.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound terrible.
That's the same with everybody in Crucible right now.
But we have one more week of that, and I'm sure we all agree that it should have never been in comp, and quick play, even that's like, it's not bothering me so much because I know I'm not in it a lot, and I know it'll be gone soon enough. But boy, who ever thought
this would be good for Crucible?
Yeah, whoever thought this would be good?
Yeah, that's a bad mistake. Because I actually was comp before Revelry started, trying to get the Recluse and whatever, and when that came out, man, it was I'm not even touching it, with a 10-foot pole, which is sad because it's nearly a whole month's time. It's almost a third of the time we have to get the weapon, and somebody like me, like I say, when I got the Luna's How, it took me, the Luna's How, it took me 3 weeks at least of on and off grinding, and that's a whole month you're taking away from somebody like me, that can't get it in the first day or first month or week or, whatever. So it seems like I probably won't be getting any of the pinnacle weapons this season because of this, which sucks, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any of the PvP pinnacle weapons.
Yeah, Sin, man, it's tough to get, brother. And on PC, it's
tough is an understatement.
It's really, I'm not having a whole lot of luck myself on PC. PC is a whole nother world compared to PS4 Crucible.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier. Hand cannons have a special place on PC for sure, especially with like Ace of Spades. I think that is the one where it gains better target acquisition without aiming down sights.
No, that's Last Word.
Last Word, that's it. And those, especially on PC, where you don't need to aim down sight, because that's what PC is known for with the mouse and keyboard, being able to have better precision or better targeting, and you don't have any flinch with that. I'm sure Last Word is probably a pretty powerful weapon, and I've never been a hand cannon person myself.
Yeah, you really don't see Last Words, at least in the. I think I'm right at 1,000 glory. And even at this point, I don't see a whole lot of Last Words. It's Ace of Spades, and then your Lunas and Not Forgottens. That's what you see.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of Ace of Spades for sure.
Yeah, Ace of Spades, I guess because of the range is so high on Ace of Spades. And like you say, Sin, I personally don't play on mouse and keyboard. So, but from what I've heard, I guess the not really, the just point and click, and then the range of it, is what makes a huge difference. You don't see it.
Now, what controller do you use on PC? I got to know.
Well, I have not played. I haven't played for a whole week. I was talking to Kingsley earlier before we started. Been working out of town and then on vacation, but I've got an Astro, the new Astro C40 controller that Astro just came out with. I don't know, a month ago or so. And I tried to fire it up tonight, and it won't work. It won't come on, so I'll have to. I have to deal with that in a little bit, I guess. But
Right.
I've got a scuff. I've actually got two older scuffs. I've got the just a standard PlayStation, looking one, and then the not the brand new one, but the one that they came out with before that was kind of Xbox looking, but the sticks were still in the PlayStation orientation. You know which one I'm talking? The Impact, I think, is what it's called.
Yes, the Impact from Scuff. Yes.
I've got one of those, and I like it, but I don't like the paddles on the back of the Scuffs. I've got my hands aren't huge, and it's kind of hard to reach those paddles in the back for me. But that Astro controller, they're built into the grips, so they're a lot easier to push the paddles in the back.
Are you still enjoying the Astro then?
Yeah, I am. I like it a lot. It's pretty good. I like I know you've seen it before, but I'm sure you have too, Sim. But it's modular. You can change it if you like the PlayStation orientation or Xbox. You can change the sticks from one way to the other, just like little modules that you can pull out and swap around.
Right.
And it's pretty convenient. And if a stick, get a lot. These Scuffs have a problems with stick drift after so long, and if that happens on this Astro, you can just go to Astro and buy one for like $20 and replace it, and it's fixed instead of spending $200 more on a controller.
Right. I'm still using my old Xbox controller on the PC when
Are
I
you?
play. It's pretty comfortable. It does the trick.
Well, I mean, if you, I would highly suggest a Scuff control. I mean, an Astro controller. I like it a lot. It feels well built, even more so than a Scuff. If you've ever used a Scuff.
Never used a Scuff personally, but
they feel more well built to me than that. If you ever felt or used or whatever Astro headphones are, those are feel like they're built pretty well, and the controller feels more or less the same. Feels like they did did a good job with quality.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'm highly considering it. I've been using an Evil controller on PS4 for quite a while, and we'll hop that over to when I play on PC also. And once you get used to those the Evil also has little
they have the built-in
things, kind of like Astro. And once you get used to that for running and jumping, it's like there's no going back.
Nope.
It's amazing. Plus, those PlayStation controllers will wear out fairly quickly, the generic ones. But
yeah, I've been through a couple.
Well, and I think that's what Scuff was, PlayStation controllers and doing their mods to them, and I think they don't last. I tell you, I've probably been through 6, 7 Scuff controllers.
Oh wow!
And they just don't last. And I was actually looking at Evil controllers there, and then I think you're the one who posted it in our Discord, Kingsley, about the Astro controller when it first came out, or when they first announced it, and I immediately made a pre-order. And I'm enjoying it, other than it not coming on tonight with it, but I'll figure that out, I guess. It's been a week or so since I played, so
you have to take it like the old NES cartridge.
Blow in
you got to open up the backside of it, blow in it.
That's it.
And then replug
okay,
it in with the quarters.
I'll give that a shot.
We expect to report back, see if that fixes it.
Yeah, will do.
Well, real quick, Sin, what else have we done this week in the game? I know we did some Shattered Throne. We did a Last Wish raid. What kind of, comes to the top of mind for interesting things?
Shattered Throne, Last Wish. I did kind of putz around the other nights in the Dreaming City. Oh, wait a minute. Shattered Throne, speaking of Dreaming City, I did get the ship.
Yeah,
awesome.
For the Shattered Throne.
Yeah, congrats on that.
One of the 3 that I need it. I still need to run the shit out of some of that Nightfall for the Horrors League.
Which I have luckily.
And then I'll still...
Oh, you got it? Oh, you lucky dog.
I know. But I don't have the ship or the other ones, so for how much I do Dreaming
Ghost
City.
Shell or Sparrow.
Seriously.
Need a lot. Need to do a lot still. and I did some lore chasing and eggs. I did that the other day while I was doing some editing of the last episode. I kind of did all that. Just would listen to some segments on the episode, edit, and then I would go over and look at like lowly dev site, and I would find out if there was something out in the open world on Dreaming City, and I was going and scanning objects and getting those open world eggs. So I'm definitely getting closer to getting the Cursebreaker title, but now it's just going to be a waiting game for each of the Ascendant challenges each week now. That's going to be the fun part, just waiting each week.
Yeah. Fun, not so fun. Take it what it is. We had some fun trying to get to that. This week's Ascendant challenge is the one where, you have the knights with the swords in the middle, and boy, some of those eggs are like way off in the distance, where if, we just ended up going both to Warlock, I Warlock main anyways, and doing Icarus dash super all the way across to get that one egg. But otherwise, I guess you got to do a sword swipe, some crazy crap to get some of those jumps way over to the other side. So I just recommend switching to Warlock and doing the solar.
Yeah, the super Icarus dash that was nice. Yeah. And with one of the videos that I was watching doing it made it super easy. I got over there and got it. Unfortunately, one of them in this particular Ascendant challenge for the week, you didn't have to actually fly to or just like to dash to.
Yeah.
It was just a pain in the rear end to try to angle the arrow right.
Uh-huh.
Because if you watch a video where somebody actually gets up to that part, it's kind of in a crevice. It doesn't look like there's really a direct line of sight. You're just hoping the arrow drops in the right spot on the egg.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one took.
Fortunately, after about 10 or 15 times, it did get it.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, that was fun times. And boy, I know we've done some. I've done some raids with Rob over on a PC, Leviathan, Last Wish. Have you gotten your Midnight Coup yet?
No, I haven't.
Sorry to bring that up. I just had to. I just had to.
Yeah. How have you not gotten that? If you've done every encounter in the Last Wish, that means you're just only like doing it. Have you only done it like the Last Wish once?
Well, Midnight Coup for Leviathan.
No, Midnight Coup is what.
I'm sorry. Yeah. The Leviathan. Yeah. Have you only done that like once or twice, or are you like running?
No, that's you. That's your RNG sin. Once or twice.
Yeah, no. I don't know.
Rob's RNG is what, 20, 30?
Oh, God, yeah. It took me. I never got 1,000 Voices on PlayStation. I think I ran that raid 25 times or so, and then first completion on PC, I got it to drop. But nice. I think it took me 10 or 12 or something like that runs of Leviathan to get Midnight Coup on PlayStation, and I'm pretty close to that already on PC, and still don't have it yet, so I haven't got it to drop.
That's insane.
Yeah, my RNG has always been terrible.
Well, then I guess I won't tell you that I got 2 1,000 Voices on PlayStation.
How do you... God.
Yeah. You're like, okay, I'm out.
Well, you have Anarchy, too.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
I haven't even touched that raid. I have not stepped foot in that raid yet.
I've run it twice.
Did you get the first
and I got
time
it on
the second time?
The second completion. The second
completion.
Oh, my God.
God.
But yeah, my RNG is totally shit otherwise, because it took me like 50-some runs to get Osprey.
Oh, yeah.
The Nightfall.
That's true.
Yeah.
Over 3 different weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking forward to Horror's Lease because I remember the Osprey chase.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
I got that on PC pretty quickly.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm always usually middle of the road myself, and I kind of almost prefer that. Like, I know that I'll get things without too much hassle. So, otherwise it's feast or famine for people that get it right away or never get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when we were running Last Wish, there when it first came out, every 1,000, me and Ferg and I were still chasing it, 20 runs in.
Yeah.
And, it's infuriating after, so long, you just almost give up. Like, the hell with it. I'll never get it, is the feeling you get after, so many runs.
Right.
But I guess it, if they had the War Mine stuff, the
Mars.
Yeah, whatever that, what was that we did so much for the
Oh, the sleeper nodes.
No, the stuff to get like the shotgun, the Icarus weapon.
Icarus.
Yeah.
The
protocol.
Yeah, the escalation protocol where if the more you do it at getting stuff,
Yeah.
if they put that in everything, I think they would, in Nightfalls and in play now, but it just seems like it takes forever to get some of these things for some people, and then some people like Sin get some things immediately. But RNG was going to be, will always be RNG, I guess.
RNGesus. I did have a tough time in EP with an EP shoddy. But granted, I didn't play it as much as a lot of other people did up front. Most of my grinding happened like way after the fact.
Yeah.
But it still took a while. Having to wait, 3? They do them like once every couple of weeks. You have a shot to get it. Or they open it up to like all the weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time gated and wait.
Yep.
Well, excellent. Rob, anything else in the game that you want to bring up before we start coming to a close?
But yeah, no, I don't. There ain't really much else I would, like to change. Really, I guess nothing. I just wish there was more content on a regular basis.
Yeah,
but I guess we will or we won't get that. I don't know, but
I was thinking about this a little bit more. Like this year we had the the annual pass, and then before we had the DLCs, and I feel like either way you slice and dice it, year 2 and year 3 always sucks compared to year 1, other than like beginning of the fall big expansion. Some people are complaining like, oh, we're not getting like all these strikes and stuff during this annual pass. I'm like, well, we didn't really ever get that anyways, except for at the beginning of year 2 and the beginning of year 3. Yeah. There was maybe a one-off strike or a reimagined strike, but even that was pretty rare. So that's what they need to fix, is no matter how you slice and dice it. And again, maybe why a monthly thing could be better in theory is we got to get more continuous, year 2, year 3 stuff, because year 1, both times, Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, with the DLCs that came out, even if, sometimes one of the DLCs is total crap, but at least there was another strike, there was some more story, and then there was another DLC a few months later with more strike and more story, and that just doesn't happen year 2 or year 3.
Well, that does bring up something with the Crucible, I guess. Where new Crucible? We haven't seen new Crucible maps in.
Yeah.
I guess that's
very, very good point.
I don't understand why they haven't. Seems like the Crucible team is almost non-existent at this point. They step in and.
That's because I thought they all quit.
They did. I think you're right. Seems that way. They just come in and nerf something real quick and then hop out, and you don't see nothing else or hear nothing from them for months on end. It just, I don't know. Seems like they've almost. I've heard people talk about they want like a battle royale Destiny.
Weird.
I don't think that would go very well. I'm not much of a battle royale fan.
That's a no from me.
Yeah, I don't think it would go. They would have to. They would really have to nerf the PvP component of the game for that, wouldn't they? Sin, you play some? Do you play any battle royales?
That's also a no.
Yeah.
For me,
okay.
no.
Well then. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if you did or not, but. For that to happen, it would have to be a bland, everybody has the same exact thing,
Right. I've never had really good luck doing them.
Yeah, I don't.
I've never got a winner chicken dinner or whatever they call it, and whatever you kids call them these days.
Yeah, I don't. I've never played Fortnite. I think I tried Apex once, and I absolutely hated it. one match, and I was like, okay, that's enough for me. I'm done. Thank God I got it. I think I got it free when I got my PC. I was like, yeah, that's a no for me.
No for me also.
Yeah, but the no maps. I don't understand. If you remember D1, every time a new expansion came, we got at least a map or two. Even if they would bring back some of the old ones, like they did the Pantheon map and the Bannerfall map, if they bring back like a Widow's Court or bring back a Rusted Lands or something, I'd even be happy with that, with just some reimagined maps. We haven't seen anything.
Yeah. No, I
was thinking that would be good to have some reimagined ones.
Yeah. I mean, I would take that. I'd love a new map. port it over and change a few things here and there, and I'd be happy with something to shake it up a little bit, because it's same maps we've been playing on since what we got a few new maps when Forsaken came out, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of new ones,
and then nothing
this year, year 2 rather.
Yeah, but nothing since. It's just gets stale after a while. Playing the same map over and over and over.
I get it. Because, even on the PvE side, I thought the same thing. Like, even if they can't get new story missions, I didn't even mind, like, in D1, where you would do some of those Taken King story missions. They were just reimagined, and you run them backwards. And that was kind of fun, right?
Yeah, it was.
Different. And, couldn't they do that with some little adventures or story missions here and there? But haven't really gotten much of that.
Or like a secret way that you can go and get a new quest.
That's even better.
That'd be really nice.
Instead of that third door you unlock, you actually go up the hallway to the right.
And then all of a sudden, there's a new PvP map.
Yeah, even better.
Unlocked to everyone.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Well, we can wish. Oh, man, that's excellent. Well, Rob, nice talking to you. Tell us anything that you're working on, or what's some other interesting things, anything you want to promote or fun things you're working on.
I actually make I guess you could say wedding ring, in my shop from time to time. I don't have a lot of time to do it. I do work a 40-hour week job, but when I have spare time, I think I've posted a few pictures up in our Discord before, but I've got a little Etsy shop that I put them all on. Once I post pictures of them, and they're made to order. I can size it to anybody's fingers up to like a size, I think 16 or so finger size, all the way down to I made my Christmas a little ring. It was probably a size 2 or 3, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You said it may have cut out on my side, but you said like wedding rings or like all types of rings. Or...
I said wedding, but any kind. Yeah, because nowadays a lot of people aren't looking for a big gaudy diamond, ring. And,
that is very true. Yeah,
and some alternative. I use some. I guess you'd call them exotic materials. Well, I like to use this stuff called Damascus, and it's titanium Damascus is what it's called. It's just basically multiple layers of titanium, basically forged, smashed together, heated up, and I don't do that part, but I buy it in like a rod, like a 1 foot by 1 inch round by 1 foot long rod, and you can heat it up, and you heat it with a torch, and it changes, turn multitude of colors, or there's even a process called anodizing. If you know what anodizing aluminum is, and I think is it Apple that uses a lot of anodized aluminum. It's not that, because that actually requires a dye.
Okay.
This is actually done by electricity. You take and just put your positive. I have a power supply, puts out 120 volts, up to 120 volts. I can adjust it from 0 to 120, and you basically just put the piece you're wanting to anodize in a bath. It's distilled water and borax, which is like use it to wash your clothes also, or like a detergent booster. But you put a little bit of that down in the water, and then you take a piece of lead, or you can even, they say lead works the best, but I don't have any lead. I just use a spoon from in the house, just something metal, and you put your negative lead power supply onto it, and then you use a piece of titanium wire and make like a hook or whatever, and connect and hook just like put the ring around the hook and put your positive lead on it, and then dip it down in that bath, and then turn your voltage up, and it changes colors immediately. It's pretty impressive. If you guys want to go to YouTube or Google or something, look up anodizing titanium. It's a crazy process, and it's instant. It's not like it takes minutes or anything. You can sometimes I'll turn it up to, and there's a chart online I found to know what voltage to turn it up to, get what color you want. But you can get greens and blues and pinks and purples and like a yellowy color or bronze at a lower voltage. And so I do a lot of that, a lot of anodizing titanium. But
I was just saying, it sounds high tech.
Yeah, it's really not. It's actually pretty low tech, really. See the setup,
Well, yeah.
but then I use carbon fiber, stainless steel, and there's some stuff called they call it mokume gane. It's a Japanese form of it's basically copper and bronze. I think copper and bronze or copper and I think it's copper and bronze. And they basically do the same thing. They just kind of forge them together, and then it's really it's like a goldish. It's almost, if you like the way gold looks and not pay the money for gold. I have not worked with that, but I haven't gotten it. But I want to get some of that, but it's a little harder to get a hold of. What I've noticed, but I do do just regular stainless steel and things like that. But my favorite stuff to use is either or even regular titanium without the different alloys of titanium. The Timascus, I use a lot of titanium also, which is pretty cool. But and then I have like glow stuff. I think y'all seen some of the rings that I like shine a UV light on, and it's basically just a powder.
Okay.
And you can I make like a channel in the ring, pour that powder in there, and then you put super glue with it, and then make your mound of powder higher than the ring, and then you can use a UV light, your flashlight on your phone, being outside powers it up, and then the ring will glow for hours after.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And didn't you make your own desk too?
Oh yeah. I do a little bit of woodwork too. Not a whole lot, but I made a PC desk, which I really don't use. The PC sits over there, but I don't sit at it.
All I have to say is that's more. I remember seeing the picture, and that's more than a little bit.
It looked nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It came out a lot better than I had envisioned. I thought, I'll give it a shot, but I like it. I made the wife a little bench for a bedroom that she had, basically her closet room. Made her a wooden bench out of just 2x4s, and then took and stained it and put it in there and made it all look all nice. So yeah, I'm into all kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, that's great. What's the name of your Etsy shop? Or we'll also have it in our show notes.
It is the Raging Cajun Ring Company.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah. It's
I love the name.
Does it come with hot sauce?
Yeah.
Too?
Oh yeah, sure. A little bit of hot sauce and some crawfish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Cajun food.
Oh yeah.
Yum yum.
Yeah, that email address. I got an email address, Cajun Co. So if you have any questions or any of that, you can email there also.
Great. Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. Anything else? Like we mentioned, Rob's over at Hoot Dawg and good person to play with. Do you like playing comp Crucible with people? Always need more people to play with?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That BattleNet is Rob13-1881, I believe. Trying not to lie to you here. I don't know exactly what it is. I think that's what it is.
All right. Well,
8675309.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, everyone listening, we'll have it in the look at all the stuffs in the show notes. So yeah, Rob plays on PC and awesome person to play with. You don't have any Twitter or anything, Rob, you want to promote or anything else?
Twitter's the Raging Cajun, I think.
Raging Cajun?
Yeah, the Raging Cajun Ring.
Great. Well, excellent. It's been such a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, guys, thank y'all for having me.
Yeah. Sin.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. What?
Game of Thrones was amazing tonight.
Here we go.
Oh my God.
This podcast has now come to an end.
The Game of Thrones Hub podcast. Oh, yes. No.
Hey,
I won't spoil it.
I can't be a co-host on that podcast because I don't know anything that's going on. Well, I'm sure it's exciting. I've definitely gone to shows before, but I just haven't had time to start that one yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good.
Do tell the people how they can find you, Sin?
You can find me all across the web at Sin Media, kind of. You can find me at twitch.tv/Sin Media. Sin is CYN. And Twitter, Sin_media. Don't forget the underscore.
Well, what if they want to?
Again, like I said last week, you'll find a blank account that nobody uses and that I can't get for some reason.
That happens. I know. Like I mentioned too, you can find me at Kingsley Mac on PlayStation and on Twitch. I usually just do occasional Twitch if I'm raiding. But on Twitter, I am MC Kingsley. So find me that way. And
Or don't.
Don't. Yeah. Or just don't listen to us. Don't care. But if you're listening this far, you probably know how to find us. But just in case you don't, our website is theguardianhub.com. And we also have a Twitter, The Guardian Hub. So, as always, we thank you all for listening. And check out all the links. And we'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You can find me in the club. Bottle full of bug. Mama got what you need. If you're into feeling balls.
Bye, Craig.